We ended the series on a very dull note with the Nifty breaching some very crucial psychological levels on the downside. A 2-month low for the Nifty and the Sensex too plunged deep into the red. In fact, you have the Nifty, which managed to scale up above the 6,050 mark. Remember, we were well below that mark for the most part of the session. For the Sensex, we did recover from the day's lows, but off by 150 points. The broader markets were not spared in the session, and in fact, it was absolute carnage over there as well. A good degree of underperformance. The Bank Nifty futures, I think that was mainly to blame for the kind of performance that we saw today. 6 straight days on the trot and deep in the red. 284 points slash today. Consumer durables as well were deep in the red. It was just capital goods and autos which managed to hold their head above the green line. DLF, that saw a big cut in today's session. Bank of Baroda, PNB as well as SBI were knocked out of shape in the session. Quite a few results for the day. Bank of India, in fact, put out its numbers and it was well below street estimates. The profits were sharply below, but we were expecting. Slippages rose on a sequential basis. That continues to remain a big concern. The recoveries, that seemed to be good, and the restructured assets were within the management guidance of close to 1,200 crore rupees. Remember, there was an additional tax provision which was done of 67.9 crores that was done toward DTL in the third quarter. HCC, that put out a fairly good set of numbers where the results beat estimates. The top line, though, came in a little bit below what we would expect them. Bottom line saw a big beat on the upside, and operationally it was a stupendous improvement for the company. Arvind put out its numbers as well. You had the profits up by 35% this time around. The top line growth came in a healthy 28% high, and the adjusted EBITDA margins did see a good expansion. Voltas too put out its numbers where the profits were lower. The top line growth, in fact, was rather flat. And remember, it had an exceptional gain of 60 crores last year. So above estimates, it was the unitary cooling and EPS verticals which surprised massively. EMP, though, disappointed. JSW Energy, 203 crores, so the profits were down 35%. Sales at 2150 crore rupees. And the South African impairment costs came in at 54 crores. Siemens too put out its numbers, and it was a fairly disappointing set with the profits down by close to 10%. The net sales were lower by 2.5%, with the approved buying Siemens Rail Auto for 55 crores. Some other stocks in news. Ranbaxy recovered from the day's lows, but there were regulatory concerns again, as reports suggested that the EU and UK are now evaluating the FDA findings on the company's Toansa facility. Apart from that, Crompton Greaves put out a great show yesterday. The stock was really up and about today, ending at the day's high at 110. Net sales soared up a good 13%, beating estimates. Profits versus a net loss, and the company cheered those numbers. Apart from that, you had Tata Motors, Bharti Airtel, BHEL and GAIL, which ended in the green, and a very disappointing series with the Nifty shedding 3.3%.